morning, everybody. It's a great pleasure being back here and being able to update you on the activities of EECB. Nika, thanks for it, and Julian as well, and everybody else that's acknowledged what we're doing. It's not just me, it's the team that's here, so including Luca and Kwancha and Musa. I don't know if she's arrived here yet this morning.
She's outside, she's here.
Yeah, and thank you also to the CBA and the President and the organising committee to give us time to be here. A year ago, and I cannot believe that a year has passed. Time is flying, and it's such a wonderful group of people to work with and to do what we do with. And yeah, the time is absolutely flying, and the years are flying past. A year ago, we asked for your participation in our activities, and that would have included sharing the implemented energy efficiency measures, participating in benchmarking and surveys, collaborating with producers and suppliers, contributing to the development of the energy guidelines, and collaborating in the implementation of energy management systems, and taking part in subsidized energy management systems training. We think that we've been pretty successful, and maybe we should say pretty damn successful, in managing to get good participation, and thank all those that have done so, very often with enthusiasm. Some highlights, Jez, I'm not stealing the thunder. Jez is going to be updating us a little bit later on the continued rollout of the VSPK, particularly with the commissioning, or the recent commissioning of the second kiln of 24 shafts at Reebok Bricks down the road, and then also 2 additional sites. We also got Peter Habla here. He's going to tell us a little bit later about the Habla Zigzag kiln, the constructive demonstrate and replicate project at Worcester Bricks. The construction is complete. We're going to go into the demonstration phase, followed then by the launch and replication. We've been able to assist a little bit in facilitating that process. Nika, where is Nika sitting? Nika, I forgot the matches. You like the kiln. I hope you've got matches. I can't wait to see smoke coming out the chimney.
No smoke.
When we are communicating with brickmakers and in our engaging with brickmakers, we also see and hear about, and Julian also alluded to, the efforts that the brickmakers are making. We're seeing more brickmakers introducing perforations, some mobile fleet modernization exercises, energy efficient electric motors. They talk about variable speed drives, insulation of kiln ducting, systems optimization, and improved clay preparation. So things are happening out there, and it's encouraging to see. For ourselves, the main activity has been, or a big part of what we have done in the past years, development of the energy guidelines. And these guidelines have been developed from the energy audits that were conducted probably 18 months to 24 months ago, which led to the identification of benchmarks and best practices. It was done in conjunction with the Carbon Trust. We appointed them to develop the guidelines. They're from the UK and have experience in developing similar guidelines for various industries. We're extremely excited to be able to say we have them now, and I hope each one of you leaves with a printed version. They'll be available at our table outside when we leave here. And we hope that that they prove to be a useful tool for you going forward when you're doing research or referencing energy efficiency measures that can be implemented in the factories. Along with the guidelines has been the development of the thermal tool, which measures specific energy consumption, heat losses, and gives some guidance towards system optimization across dryer and kiln installations. They've also developed with Carbon Trust, and also like to thank John Offerman for the role that he's played in being the link between ourselves, Carbon Trust, and then also with the brickmakers that have participated, as well as the IT service provider that has ensured that the thermal tool is up and running on, I think it's Google Docs, John. There's also been training conducted the last 2 to 3 weeks ago, and so far the feedback has been good, and we are also hoping that it will prove to be a tool that is useful to you. And there's a third activity coming from that is also the energy management systems training, such as offered by our National Clean Production Centre, with so far with brickmakers attending from both Gauteng and Eastern Cape. We're also still engaging with the financial sector, and as such have commissioned service providers to develop financial guidelines that would also be available for the brickmakers going forward. And I'll come back to that a little bit later when I talk about this year's activities. Still engaging with government and primarily supporting the association and engaging with government on the issue around carbon tax. And then also, as I think it was Julian and Musa alluded to, supporting the visibility or the awareness of the association out there in the construction sector and the benefits of clay brick. And an example was the presence at the South African Association for Energy Efficiency Conference end of last year. We also did the Brickmakers Survey, primarily it's an activity that was conducted which seeks to measure our performance. How is EECB doing out there? If we take the LCA data, which we haven't quite fully seen yet and is not yet published, where were we in 2013, where are we now as an industry, and then hopefully again towards the end of the project, where's the project then, to be able to measure how are we doing in bringing about the awareness of energy efficiency within the sector. 40 factories participated, and across those 40 factories we had a weighted average in energy of 3.07 megajoule per kilogram. And it's encouraging to see the increased awareness of energy efficiency, with 83% of the companies saying they are implementing energy efficiency measures. And I think it goes beyond just a couple of LED lights there. There are some substantial measures being implemented. We hope to see more awareness around measurements and self-benchmarking, and then hopefully follow the trend going towards the end of 2017. Looking ahead, our focus in the next few months will be the dissemination and follow-up of the energy guidelines and the thermal tool, as well as the demonstration of energy efficiency measures. These measures would be dependent on partnerships and co-funding, the interest from brickmakers and the replicability of the energy efficiency measure, as well as dependent on timeframes. And an example could be the gas ignition of clamps, to see if there's any benefits in that. Then there's also the financial guidelines which I mentioned earlier. The service providers that are developing the guidelines, they've already engaged with some brickmakers and gone around and asked a whole bunch of questions. And following on from that, we have a list of recommended interventions. And the guideline would probably cover these areas. It's developing a strategy to open finance from banks, explore the potential for setting up specialized funds, provide training to brickmakers around the carbon tax, undertake wider development of finance-related interventions, for example, carbon credits-based funding, and guarantee funding from international donors to de-risk investment. And then finally, there's the Clay Brick Sustainability Initiative, which we would be supporting development of that in the coming year, and which hopefully will be a platform for the Clay Brick Association as well as producers to demonstrate their sustainability initiatives. And then there's the launch of the Energy Awards, which you're going to have me back here a bit later, and I'll tell you more about that. So then some closing thoughts. Energy efficiency does not just come from good equipment, technologies or materials, but also from good energy management and good operating and maintenance practices. Very often when I go around and talk to brickmakers, I always think we're trying to sell them kilns and new forklifts and everything is about high capital. It's not. And you mustn't ignore the small 1 to 2% savings, which are generally low cost or often actually free, as they all accumulate into more substantive savings. So for you, the sector, what does this mean? It means lower energy costs, improved margins, and able to demonstrate and contribute to sustainability. And for us, the project, it's being able to support you and contributing to national energy efficiency and lower CO2 emission initiatives. So thank you very much. And as I said in the beginning, it's not just Luca and myself that are here. Juancho is with us, and Musa as well. So please feel free to engage with us when you get the opportunity. Thank you.